All right, let's jump right into it. There's a new further public offering, an FPO, on the block from Vijaya Laghubitta. So, what's the real story behind the numbers? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down their official prospectus and get straight to the core facts for you.
Look, these official documents can be, well, a bit dense, so we've done the heavy lifting for you. We've combed through the whole thing to pull out the key info you need to know. Think of this as your personal guided tour through the prospectus, where we cut through the jargon and highlight what really matters.
Okay, so first things first. Let's start with the absolute basics. What exactly is being offered here, and maybe more importantly, why are they offering it?
Right, just a quick refresher for everyone. An FPO, that's a further public offering, is a little different from an IPO. This isn't the company's big debut on the stock market. Nope, they're already publicly listed. An FPO is just when they decide to issue more new shares to the public.
Okay, so now let's get to know the company behind this offer. Who exactly is Vijaya Laghubitta, and what's their story? So, Vijaya Laghubitta is a national-level microfinance institution. They're officially licensed by Nepal Rashtra Bank as a D-class institution. Now, according to their own documents, their core mission is all about bringing financial services to communities that might not have easy access to them. We're talking both rural and urban areas. And the big goal behind all that? To help spark entrepreneurship and ultimately help reduce poverty. And we're not talking about a small operation here. They have a pretty wide reach. Just look at these numbers from the end of last fiscal year. They're running 135 branches, they're active in 44 different districts, and they're serving over 143,000 customers. That gives you a pretty solid picture of just how big their operational scale is.
All right, so we know who the company is. Now let's get down to the nitty-gritty of this FPO itself. What are the key details you really need to know?
So this is a really important question. Why are they even doing this? And the prospectus is super clear about it. This isn't about raising capital for a huge new project or something like that. It's mainly a regulatory thing. They're required to adjust their ownership ratio between the founding promoters and the general public to a 70-30 split. And, well, this FPO is simply the way they're going about hitting that target.
So, how many shares are up for grabs? The exact number being issued to the public is 466,817.
And what about the price tag? Well, they're being offered right at face value. It's a nice round 100 Nepali rupees per share.
And just so you know, the whole process is being managed professionally. The official issue and sales manager steering the ship on this one is NMB Capital Limited.
All right, next up, let's take a look at the company's financial health. We're going to look at some key performance indicators. And remember, these numbers are pulled directly from the prospectus. It's like getting a quick snapshot of how they've been doing lately. Okay, let's break down what we're seeing in this table. First, you've got net worth per share. You can think of this as the company's book value for a single share. Basically, if they sold everything and paid off all their debts, this is what would be left for each shareholder. And you can see it's been climbing steadily. Then you have earnings per share, or EPS. That's just the company's total profit divided by all its shares. It tells you how profitable the company is on a per-share basis. Now, you'll notice there was a dip a couple of years back, but look at that projection for the year that just wrapped up. A pretty big bounce back is expected.
Okay, now this slide puts two key numbers side by side, and it's definitely something to pay attention to. On one hand, you have the FPO share price, which is set at 100 rupees. On the other hand, you have the company's latest reported net worth per share, which is over 149 rupees. This really highlights that gap between the price they're asking for the share and what the company's own books say a share is worth.
Okay, but of course, it's not all about the potential upside. Every investment has risks, right? The prospectus itself has a whole section on this, and it's absolutely crucial stuff for anyone thinking about investing. So let's see what the official document has to say.
Now, this is a quote pulled straight from the offer document. It's pretty standard language, but it's so important. Basically, it's saying that, hey, while we provide the info, the buck stops with you. The final call and the responsibility for checking out the risks, that's all on the investor.
So to help investors figure out that risk, there are independent agencies that give out credit ratings. For this particular FPO, the rating agency ICRA Nepal gave it an official rating of ICRANP-IR B with a watch with negative implications. So the big question is, what on earth does that mean?
Well, according to the prospectus itself, that B rating indicates a high risk of default regarding timely servicing of financial obligations. And that extra bit, the watch with negative implications, adds another layer to think about. We're just telling you the official, neutral definition that's provided right there in the document. All right, let's move on to the practical stuff.
For anyone who has listened to all this, weighed the facts, and is thinking about applying, let's walk through the actual steps. How do you do it, and what are the important deadlines you can't miss?
The process is actually pretty straightforward, especially if you're already set up for online investing in Nepal. First, you need to make sure you have your Demat account and your CRN number ready to go. Once you've got those, you can apply right through the Mero Share software or go through your bank as long as it's C-ASBA approved. And just a reminder, the smallest amount you can apply for is 10 shares.
And here are the most important dates to circle on your calendar. The whole thing kicks off on post 21st. Now listen up, because it could close as early as post 24th if it gets fully subscribed right away. If not, the absolute latest it will stay open is until MOG 5th. So the bottom line is, if you want in, you've got to act inside that window.
So there you have it. We've walked through who the company is, the details of the offer, their financial picture, the risks highlighted in the prospectus, and exactly how to apply. Our whole goal here was just to lay out the key facts straight from the source to give you a solid starting point. So the real question we want to leave you with is this. Now that you have these core facts, what are you going to look into next?